My main object is get from point A to point B.
The service and the availability of flights are the two things I look for.
Principalement les horaires, les facilités d'embarquement.
Time schedule.
Fastest connection I can find.
It's usually the flight that fits into the schedule that I have.
Service and what experience I've had.
California.
People who fly for a living fly United's friendly skies.
Eastern Provincial, the cargo,
Next time, fly American Airlines.
British Airways.
Today we are here for the presentation or the unveiling of our new Boeing 767. Air Canada, of course, is the first airline in Canada and the first airline outside of the United States to take delivery of this new generation.
It's a long jump from advertising jingles to renewing a fleet, but both are about the struggle for customers and the drive of one airline determined to win.
Do you want me to look at you or Joe?
Let's look at Joe.
This film is a look at passengers, payloads, and share points. It's about tough competition and some of our game plans to beat them. It's about Air Canada's business future and what it will take to have one.
There's a fuel-efficient plane. What about the personnel? Will they be more efficient?
I think what we're really trying to do, Joe, is to put management into the same technology as the airplanes that we're taking delivery of. These airplanes are more efficient than old ones. Management has got to be more efficient, because in this industry, you've got to commit yourself way out into the future.
There may be simpler ways to earn a living this year than working for an airline. Behind closed doors in Montreal, an Air Canada scheduling session with our regional and headquarters planners locked in the complex job of trying to hold on to our own business and take away large chunks of the other guys. The struggle for the customer is on, and it's everybody's business.
The most important aspect of our job, basically, is to get these aircraft out on time.
So they can be advised that their baggage is gone. I got to tell them that right away.
Smoking clear. Preferably an aisle seat so I can have it.
Try to turn the situation around, which is kind of incredible today, you know.
You able to leave it on the gate? Yeah, the way it looks right now, I'll leave him on and put 396 behind Great Lakes 819.
That even gives them a 5-minute advantage there. So because they're going to be coming into Terminal 1, they're going to go
That's rapid air product. We should try and keep and maintain the integrity of that. We should
said before. Inside Air Canada, the drive for more business accelerates. Marketing strategies develop. Training programs run. Aircraft come in for facelifts. Automated systems plug in. Spending belts are tightened. Sales blitzes are launched. Our needs are clear, but the game's getting rougher.
Do you have to take smoking or non-smoking?
5:35, 15 minutes, so that gives you 45.
459, I'm trying to go ahead.
I got 1 minute!
The challenge to increase our share of existing markets doesn't rest in the laps of our long-range planners. While sales reps are knocking on agency doors and researchers probe the traveling psyche, here at the core of the airline, a technical team spots a snag, which could ripple out to boarding lounges and cargo terminals across the system. But it won't. They'll have it back to airworthiness in a matter of hours. The customers today won't wait. But the battle is widening beyond the traditional airline arena. Even with promotional tariffs and fares, potential Air Canada customers have never had so many options.
LRC train.
Teleconferencing.
Or other ways to communicate.
Without the bother of meeting.
Or technologies and toys to tempt them. At the Montreal Boat Show.
Say, for example, if I bought a boat like this, the first thing that would have to go would be Christmas in Vancouver with the folks, because there's no way we could afford this and Christmas vacation. I mean, you know, it's a few bucks.
And so the struggle to sell heats up. V-bottom hull versus Vancouver, Acapulco or an Apple III, flying or phoning. Commercial success hovers around winning minute shares of a very choosy market.
You hear some people gripe about Air Canada, we're not as good as CP, but I've never planned it. I've always been satisfied with Air Canada.
If I have a choice, I prefer Delta.
be honest with you, it's the first time I've flown CP. I've always flown Air Canada before.
We're flying Eastern.
I fly Air Canada all the time.
CP because they serve meals with their seat sale tickets.
This morning I'm flying American.
I'd have to say CP, number one on service.
Well, I think other airlines are getting better. Like I have flown with other airlines recently. But, I think overall still Air Canada has certainly better schedules and the service is consistent.
In the peak, it will go Victoria, Vancouver, Ottawa, daily.
796, it's 50 minutes through...
One of our aims is to have core timings on the business markets. So year-round our flights leave at the same time, rain, hail or shine, night and day, always the same timing. And yet, on the other hand, we have to be responsive to the competitor. And a good example is Toronto, Texas, which has gone from riches to rags overnight with American airlines coming in.
Mike Hewitt, Director of Schedule Development.
Trying to find the right niche in the day where we can make money.
Well, you can't go at night, like at 21:30 out of Edmonton.
We recently ran an ad in Texas advertising that we had the last flight of the day. The very next day, American phoned up and said, check your computer, and sure enough, they had changed again. They'd gone behind us to get a better timing out of Dallas once more.
Traffic control brought to you by the Dallas Times-Herald. An uninjury accident.
There are people in our company today that don't even appreciate we fly to and from Texas, other than the people who are employed in Texas.
Deep in the heart of enemy territory, our Director of Passenger Strategy and Product Development, Ted Shetson, on the tactics of SWAT.
American's got a hub-and-spoke consulate here in Dallas, which is unbeatable, even though there are a lot of other hubs and spokes. They've managed to put all the right flights in at the right times. They have dynamic scheduling. They have dynamic personality. They have, in fact, a lot of hype. American Airlines is not a thing. It's a totality, and that's Air Canada's problem. It's Delta's problems. It was Braniff's problem.
Nothing but our best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
We used to spend somewhere from 6 months to a year through a very structured planning process, a process which didn't allow us to interject an ad hoc opportunity. Now we are talking about 3 weeks of investigation, situation analysis, and about 3 weeks to 6 weeks of execution. So SWAT, in fact, has been used as the name, which is Special Weapons and Tactics. It has the focus and the visibility, and most importantly, it gives everyone the impression that it's use it or lose it. What the solution is in terms of interlining is obviously working with people that compete with American Airlines. We have come up with sort of a common enemy theme, if you will, with the Deltas and Continentals, Pan Americans and Pan American subsidiaries out of Dallas and Houston now to try and offset Americans' unique strength. The major solution, though, to the route has to be an understanding that it's our people who have to become more aggressive. We are not going to have new passengers on our flights instantly because, in fact, we have decided that we want them. I want to be as positive as I can about this program, but, you know, damn it, we are putting enough money into this route in terms of focused energy, people's time, as well as merchandising dollars, in-flight amenities, prime time schedules, etc., to turn this thing around if there's a capability of it being turned around.
In the immediate future, the difference between turning around versus spinning our wheels won't show up at our new headquarters, but every day out at the front lines, at the beginning of each new shift.
In every department, we can sell the airline our own way.
Well, I think if we don't reach those standards, then the traveler will look for someone else who can.
There are a number of things that we, the airline, can give the passenger that other airlines cannot.
Je crois que Air Canada, au Canada en tout cas, est un leader.
There's got to be a very friendly approach so the passenger wants to come back.
I try to put myself in their position. There's an awful lot of people around who have never traveled before.
Plutôt que d'attendre qu'il nous demande des choses, d'aller lui offrir avant, juste le fait qu'il se sente bien à bord.
Going out of your way, all the extra little things that they'll remember.
L'avertir de ce qui peut arriver, pourquoi les choses sont arrivées. Ne pas mentir aux passagers, lui dire vraiment ce qu'il y en est.
There's a gigantic struggle in the airline industry, you know, to get that
extra passenger that is not going to go down to the other airline.
Selling Air Canada more effectively is becoming a matter of bringing this frontline understanding into where decisions are made.
And we can see
in Vancouver, for example, that's already starting to happen.
If you want a gearing on what the customer feels about things, the best way you're going to get it is to get direct feedback from the people who are directly dealing with them. So what we did was created 4 teams that are all passenger agents. These teams cover Transcontinental, which is the one that you see in the background now.
Our general manager for British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, Zachary Clark.
Sun destinations teams.
What made the route management team pick Abbotsford?
We felt that we needed more local exposure.
We've come back with several ideas that have been accepted by management.
Passenger agent and route team member, Linda Kellen.
And regarding our schedules.
Was there competition within the office for
Well, it's created a greater dialogue between management and the reservation staff, which enables us to understand some of the reasons behind corporate decision and policy making, and as a result we're able to explain that to our customer and therefore sell the airline better.
The competition here is extremely tough. Over the last 2 years, we've seen our competition increase tremendously. Much too much capacity on the marketplace, and that's the problem. The importance of this team is that the competition has increased so much that it's absolutely essential that we retain our share of market. We can only retain our share of market with aggressive selling and good servicing.
Internationally, fierce competition is taking much of the civil out of aviation. Nowhere is the struggle more evident than in the rebounding world of air cargo. In Paris, our Director of Cargo Sales Development and Support, Roger Legault.
It's incredibly tough. Everyone is out fighting for a share of market. No one's pulling any punches. Airlines like KLM, Air France, Sabena are expert at this particular battle. Air Canada in the European region has clearly demonstrated that they can fight in the marketplace. We have protected our share of market, we have good loads, and we're generating good contribution.
L'avantage principal est qu'une fois que vous avez établi un service...
Close work with influential freight forwarders in Europe is strengthening Air Canada's position. As Roger points out, once we can establish a reputation for service with a cargo customer, it's pretty difficult for our competitors to take him away.
From Canada, the USA, and also from the Pacific Rim countries, we have been very successful in getting a fair share of market. But in the Canadian market particularly, we have to become a bit more aggressive on all fronts to get our share.
Some of the ways we'll do that is to change some of our tariffs. In the international arena, on the Atlantic, as you know, with the passengers as well as cargo, it's very
Gary
competitive.
Vogan, Regional Cargo Manager, Toronto.
Running around trying to get the business no matter what the cost. What we're trying to do now is step back and say, we've got the major business in place. Now what we need to do is simplify things. We need to simplify it for the customer who is not sure of which product he wants, and we have to simplify it for the staff. We may eliminate some products, we may change the format, but what we have to do is come out of product rationalization with a simpler product line so that everybody understands it, and yet still have the ability to cater to the customer on an exclusive basis.
7-1, position 47 north, 40 west, 1343.
But while we're fighting it out in the streets today, there are long-range plans being drawn to sustain our competitive advantage. Global expansion is one of our underlying strategies, but to serve the vast markets of Africa and Asia profitably, Air Canada needs some victories in the middle distance.
Toronto,
We'll have to prove ourselves within Europe before we can win in Bombay or Singapore. European Region Vice President David Bryce Buchanan explains the tactics behind our new service to Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf is an ideal spot, in our view. It's the headquarters for many large industrial concerns, and we were there before, and we are now back realizing again that we must use this potential. In an area 150 kilometers around Dusseldorf, you get a population that is comparable to Canada's in total. By going to Dusseldorf, we'll become proactive in counterattacking against the carriers that use Amsterdam, CP Air and KLM, who feed off the Ruhr Basin, as well as attacking carriers who are here now, Nordair, our charter competition. It will be indeed also a training ground for us in getting ready for the next steps.
The company's beginning to deal with more than its intense transatlantic competition.
To cope not only as we have...
With our new Fifth Freedom rights, we're taking dead aim at the internal European routes of British Airways, Lufthansa, and Air France.
We've, for years, had to suffer the encroachment of a great deal of competition in our backyard, and it's going to be a pleasant experience for us to become predators in other people's ballparks.
Bienvenue à un monde nouveau, le monde de l'intercontinental. Un cachet extraordinaire qu'Air Canada donne maintenant à son service entre le Canada et
The
l'Europe.
calculated risk that began in the back rooms of in-flight service and marketing has now taken form, and it's challenging the toughest airline corridor in the world.
Vivez une expérience gastronomique exceptionnelle, présentée dans un service de porcelaine. Et le service hospitalité, toute la classe du service intercontinental dans une formule économique. Si vous n'avez pas pris l'intercontinental, il y a quelque chose de l'Europe que vous ne connaissez pas.
The respected British magazine, Executive Travel, has called Air Canada's new Intercontinental the finest airline service on the Atlantic. Minutes before the Intercontinental's departure from Paris, we caught Rudy Roth briefing his crew.
Exécutif jusqu'à 36 et la classe hospitalité, pardon, je suis sous pression déjà. La classe hospitalité, c'est complet, 221 personnes.
Vous traversez en face, vous allez dans la cabine jaune, madame. Jaune.
Chaque vol, vous faites entre Paris et Montréal, Montréal-Paris, les avions sont complets. Soit classe
The
hospitalité.
Intercontinental is proving that with imagination and teamwork, Air Canada people can outmarket and outperform any carrier. Our loads have risen, while others struggle. We've come closer to our customers, and our customers have noticed.
Well, I've flown Air Canada in the past, transatlantic, and I've been very unhappy with the service. And I got on an Air Canada flight this time on the way back. And there's obviously been some dramatic change in Air Canada's thinking about service, because the service on this flight was excellent.
Madame Chambert.
Un Chablis ou un vin du Rhin?
I think today they're very happy.
L'hôtesse que nous avons eue était vraiment très dévouée, très gentille. Ça, je pense que c'est important parce qu'on est un petit peu comme des bébés dans un avion comme ça. On aime ça se faire gâter et je pense qu'elle prend bien soin de nous.
Il ne faut pas oublier aussi que le produit qu'on offre est excellent sur toute la ligne. Les vins, ce sont des grands crus. Les repas sont bien apprêtés.
I would only hope that possibly they would extend this type of service to the domestic flights as well.
Je pense que c'est différent des autres compagnies. En tout cas, je ne voudrais pas en nommer, mais je suis allé sur British Airways, je suis allé sur Air France, je suis allé sur Iberia et j'aime mieux le service qui est donné ici.
If Air Canada were to keep up this type of service, I would definitely prefer to fly Air Canada.
C'est tout une amélioration qui est constante.
As Lucette McCready points out, doing it right is a matter of pride. If this airline is going to succeed, we've got to realize that it's us versus a hungry, growing range of competitors. The struggle for the customer in Air Canada is everybody's business. And though it won't be easy, it's a fight we have to win.
It's a gigantic struggle in the airline industry, you know, to get that extra passenger that is not going to go down to the other airline.
A smile is worth 2 share points on a Texas route, but might be worth 3 share points on a route to Germany.
Well, we have a lot of aircraft changes, a lot of close connections for passengers coming in on these late flights. It is very hectic. It's been going like this since about 8 o'clock this morning, and it's quite a day.